Minister Peter O'Neill continues defence of country's economy. Simbu PPC says no to special constables. And Cocoa Warwagira Festival kicks off in Kokopo.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seine.
Good evening and thanks for joining me for Thursday's news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says the National Alliance Party rants about the economy are aimed at positioning itself during the elections. O'Neill told listeners on FM 100's live talkback show that the economy is growing based on evidence from international funding institution reviews. Bethany Herman with this report.
The Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was on the FM 100 talkback show this morning answering questions from listeners.
Now the fee thing again. Now they are now taking our parents to court.
He was later asked by EMTV about the recent rants by members of the National Alliance Party over the state of the economy at the end of the talkback show.
Criticize the government and of course economy that they were responsible for. Something that they could have done and put it to government earlier during the course of our partnership. But it's unfortunate that they try to politicize this particular issue at the back of an election that is coming forward. And I understand that they are trying to position themselves to the nation, but I think they've done themselves a disservice.
On the show itself, PM O'Neill also responded to claims that the economy isn't doing well.
Where politicians continuously mislead our people, thinking that we've got far too many loans, thinking that we are borrowing too much to continue to maintain investment in our country. And secondly, that our economy has been mismanaged and it's not doing too well. Well, let me say this. I think yesterday Moody's released a report basically saying that our economy is stable. Our credit ratings, which is the ratings that international banks and international investors look when they want to invest in our country, whether our country and the economy is stable or not. So Moody's have given a report that is giving credit to the way we have managed the economy, despite our critics.
The Prime Minister was also asked by MTV about candidates campaigning to bring basic power, water supply and give land titles to people in settlements around Lae and Port Moresby. The People's National Congress Party has come under fire during the election period. Today, the Prime Minister responded to the opposition, the political parties and the candidates.
You give me one hospital that they have built, or just give me a name of a road that they have built, or a school that they have built. They built nothing. All went missing. Now there's zero money in the trust account because of them. So the choice is very clear. So they tell me I go fishing or I continue my work. That's simple as that.
On the show, the Prime Minister said in health, work will start at the Angau and Port Moresby cancer treatment facilities. In education, the PM says tuition-free education will continue despite the ongoing criticism. A new component will be university student loans, which can be repaid over 30 years or more. In infrastructure, the Highlands Highway will be improved. The 4-lane highways in Western Highlands, Central and the Morobe province will be completed. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
PNG National Party leader Karenga Kua is urging voters for a change in government leadership. Kua said voters must think wisely and vote when polling commences. Kua said this at a rally yesterday in Port Moresby.
Politics in the country is becoming interesting as polling nears. Over the last 2 weeks, political parties have come out making the stand by marketing their policies to the people. Yesterday, PNG National Party visited 9 Mile outside Port Moresby for a rally. Parliamentary leader Karenga Kua was backed by Northwest candidate Ong Kiap and Northeast candidate John Kaupa. PNG NP leader Kua says this election brings the opportunity for a new leadership and new government, and people must vote wisely.
All by talking you, all them all qualify to form him next government. The question is, all by carrying nubla passing come inside, all by carrying passing block before you all by come recycle him can.
Kua is confident of retaining the Seine Yongomul seat, but is also campaigning to be a contender for the Prime Minister's seat if his party collects enough numbers after the polling.
Through my leadership, me play a track record to make sure we do the right thing for the rural people. The voiceless majority of people, we always stand by them.
Former NCD Deputy Manager Ong Kiap echoed similar concerns for voters to be wise when voting.
Mr. Nablo here on behalf of my children. All Pigini Blomilo tomorrow. All but need him strong blood leaders. All but need him no-nonsense leaders. All but need him honest leaders.
Northeast candidate John Kokopo is confident PNGNP will be one of the parties vying to form the government.
Mebla believe lo leadership. Mebla believe lo kerenge kua.
Yesterday's rally was not to promote candidates but to give an overview of the state of the country and how voters should see things at a larger scale as polling nears. Jacob Pave Jr. National MTV News.
Simbu Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector David Seine says orders for the security operations in the province are in place. However, the PPC said the command will not be involving special constables despite orders from the police hierarchy.
It is the fourth week of campaign, and reports received at the Kundiawa police station reveals that there are no major election-related offences.
Early last year.
But Commander Seine says the command will not be optimistic about the campaigning and they are closely monitoring the situation.
Instructions have been issued to recruit special constables. Due to the time limitation, we have to organize ourselves to get special constables in. We are unable to get any special constables in for the operations. So we will be entirely depending on our own personnel in Simbu. We have the support of the Warwagira.
There is continuous dialogue with Simbu Police and the Electoral Commission Office in Kundiawa. Simbu Province has 6 open electorates, including Seine Yongomul and Karawagi. It will have over 400 polling venues. At least 400 police officers are expected to take part in the security operations for the 2017 national elections. Like most other provincial commands, Simbu is facing a shortage in logistical and manpower support. Thus, 18 correctional officers from the Warwagira Correctional Center will be assisting the command.
So all in all, if I were to have 5 policemen to a vote to a polling booth, I would require 2,200 policemen and women. But I don't have that number, and the RPNCC does not have that number.
Tekla Gunga, National MTV News, Kundiawa.
Another veteran journalist, Bona Tito, has passed away. Mr. Tito was working as operations manager with FM 100. He also took over as host of the famous talkback show from late Roger Hawafa. Mr. Tito passed away last night. Phase 1 of the multi-million Kina Edevu hydropower project in Central Province is now underway with the construction of a water diversion tunnel. This tunnel was built by Chinese engineering company Tunnel Engineering Limited at a cost of $35 million, equivalent to over 100 million Kina. PNG Power and ICCC executives travelled with developer PNG Hydro Limited today to inspect the tunnel at the project site. Eric Harupma with this report.
A milestone achievement for developer PNG Hydro Limited saw the construction of this water diversion tunnel. It was built at a cost of over 100 million Kina by a Chinese engineering company called Tunnel Engineering Limited, subcontractor to developer PNG Hydro Limited. The convoy traveled through this water tunnel, which is 478 meters long, 7 meters wide and 8 meters deep.
Diversion tunnel is for us to give us access to construct a dam. So this diversion, after the completion, is going to be re-blocked. So the tunnel will block it. So its function is only function for 2 years' time. During our construction, we are let water go into a tunnel, so we can go to the dam construction.
According to PNG Hydro Limited Managing Director Alan Guo, the engineers will increase the depth to another 6 meters until they reach the water level. The tunnel is phase 1 of the 61 million Kina Edevu Hydro project, which will provide a waterway to divert the course of the Brown River.
Opening of the diversion tunnel, we are confident this project is way on track. We are able to finish the project as we planned and as we committed to PNG Power for the supply of power in 2020.
This will allow engineers to construct a dam for the hydroelectricity component of the project. The hydro will generate 51 megawatts of electricity to supply and boost electricity in Central and NCD.
On the technical front, we will see that, and we will assist him on the transmission side so that he can be able to deliver power into the city. And I'd like to once again thank Alan for that.
Technical officers are here on site as well to take note so that going forward in terms of our oversight of the industry, we would be informed first then in liaison with our counterparts at PNG Power and working with the project developer to ensure that they confine and to the regulations that we enforce.
Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
3 school children in Port Moresby were rushed to the hospital for treatment this morning after they were hit by a vehicle while on their way to school. These pictures taken by a resident at 6 Miles Carnegie Street shows bystanders rushing to help pull the children who were stuck under the vehicle. The 3 received serious injuries to the head, leg and arm after being hit and dragged off the road by this white ute. Police at the scene told MTV News the driver, who is a woman, was under the influence of alcohol with another woman passenger. The woman driver is in police custody as an investigation into the matter begins. National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. A Lei manufacturing company says they have been doing a good job of riding out the foreign currency crisis. Furniture maker Pacific Foam says one of the lessons they have learned is to source the majority of their materials locally to avoid the outflow of money.
Last night, Pacific Foam put on display furniture that has become synonymous with the company's operations in Lei. The furniture are sold all over the country. But not many people know that nearly all the materials, apart from the fabric and the leather, are locally sourced.
And 90% of it is manufactured in PNG. Of course, manufactured in PNG means the wood is from PNG, the foam is from PNG. Only the fabrics and outer leathers are brought in from overseas.
Santosh Srinivasan is the group's general manager. He says sourcing raw materials locally has its advantages.
When we are manufacturing, we import only raw material. So, say 1/3 of our currency only has to go out, 70% stays back in the economy.
Throughout the foreign currency crisis period, Pacific Foam has learned important lessons. One of them is that your expenses in US dollars are less if most of your materials are bought domestically.
There is a lot of challenges day to day as a local manufacturer. The only thing is hard work and focus, make the team to focus towards the company.
The advantages experienced by Pacific Foam have not been seen by all companies in Lei. Many have had to lay off their workers and scale down operations due to high costs. Srinivasan says Papua New Guinean companies have to re-strategize to counter external problems. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Lei.
Our Development Party candidate for Moresby Northwest, Habia Babe, is eager to deliver changes in the electorate as stipulated under his party's policies. Habia, who hails from Hela Province, is a long-time resident of Port Moresby Northwest. He said people development is a fundamental pillar for change. Habia is challenging against sitting MP Michael Malabag and 32 other candidates. Eric Harupma with this report.
Babe's intention to contest the Moresby Northwest open seat was basically for human development.
Our rationale is that our development party refers to, our is referring to 8 or 10 million people of our country. Development is changing from where we are, where we were last 41 years, and let's change ourselves to be better people in the next last 41 years.
Abia is also the secretary of our development party, which was initiated in 2012. He said the party has sound policies which can bring tangible developments to the electorate.
And our vision is our people shall be educated, our people shall be skilled, our people shall be healthy, our people shall be wealthy, and spiritual sound, which is integral human development. Because all elements of human beings are very important.
Some of the areas he will address in Mosby Northwest include bringing tangible developments, addressing settlement issues, Motu Koita development initiatives, land and resources, good governance, and agriculture revolution. Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
Sitting Hela Governor Francis Potape says campaign has been quiet in Hela, but he says there is a growing concern by candidates for the appointed assisting returning officers in the province. Governor Potape urged Electoral Commissioner Patilius Gamato to make new appointments or supervise the current officers on the ground. Potape alleged that AROs have been seen campaigning for some candidates at rallies.
Those AROs or election officials who are falling off the line, they need to be replaced so that the people can go to the polls without fear, intimidation, being hijacked by AROs and so forth.
Service providers in the autonomous region of Bougainville have been given assured that debts for the 2012 national general election will be paid. Acting election manager Desmond Timiaso says it's important dues are paid before polling begins to avoid disruptions in the conduct of elections. And he has thanked Bougainvilleans for showing the true spirit of Melanesia and always ensuring a safe, free and fair election. Fabian Hakalitz files this report from Buka.
Although the total outstanding cost for the 2012 national general election was not disclosed, it's believed to be a substantial amount of money. And Mr. Timiaso says, as the acting election manager, he wants to ensure dues are paid before the autonomous region of Bougainville enters into polling, giving the assurance to service providers.
I have been assured by the Electoral Commission that some payments will be made, but not in full. At least some form of payment, in part, is made to the service providers.
Service providers' claims must be settled because they are important and the same institutions that will render services in the conduct of this year's election.
If in the event that the response is not that forthcoming, there is something that we will have to relook at it, revisit our polling plans, the actual conduct of elections.
And he has called on the national government to ensure that outstanding bills for service providers are settled before Papua New Guinea enters polling. In Buka, Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
A remote community in Nipa Kutubu can now access clean fresh water. Baradage village elders say water has been an issue for this community over the last 20 years. The water project was funded by the Nipa Kutubu District Development Authority in 2016.
Baradage has a population of nearly 8,000 people, and despite having running water near the village, clean water is hardly accessible. The completion of the water project is a service under the development agenda of the Nipa Kutubu district. Locals were joined by sitting MP Jeffrey Komal to witness its opening. The PNG candidate says this project is part of the policies enforced by the current government in reaching out to remote communities.
Government is providing funding. Now, Tete, but you come to so long. Blessings in long here. Now you better drink there's no fresh water here.
It's the first water project for the local community who can now enjoy this service at the doorsteps. Over 15 running taps have been installed around the village. Later that day, the community also witnessed the opening of a road project. The road is a community-driven initiative supported by the Nipa Kokopo district.
Village level. Thank you, Naba Mibla Village Feeder Road. Thank you, Prime Minister. All needs long all man long grassroots level. Come down through long something through long plus. Now Karim, this road come. Now water supply, water may come.
The road is not sealed but is a start for the people to transport goods and services into the area.
Hooray!
The water and road project are the first impact projects for this community who have been neglected in the past 25 years. Jack Lapave Jr. National EMTV News.
The PNG University of Technology celebrated its 52nd anniversary in Lae today. The university was established in 1965 by an act of the House of Assembly. It started its life as an institution on the campus of the University of PNG in Port Moresby. The university recognized more than 50 long-serving staff as part of this celebration. They were awarded with certificates as a sign of appreciation of their long years of service in the institution. Some of them had served the university for more than 40 years. And now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.307, $0.4067 Australian dollars, $0.2705 euro and 33.97 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher while coffee, cocoa and copra closed the day lower. Palm oil closed lower while crude oil is trading higher and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 74.51 points higher, the ASX closed at 16.03 points higher and the All Ordinaries closed at 13.15 points higher. Stories making headlines overseas. When we return, stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump has met with Pope Francis at the Vatican. The pair spoke about climate change with a prompt urging from the pontiff for the U.S. president to stay in the Paris Agreement. Mr. Trump called the half-hour meeting an honor.
So slowly and flanked by the Swiss Guard, the leader of the world's preeminent superpower walked through the Vatican to meet the leader of one of the world's preeminent religions. And were there ever two more different people? Pope Francis with just the merest hint of a smile, President Trump beaming. They sat across from each other in the pontiff's study as though one was going for a job interview. But there were lighter moments. As Melania Trump was presented, the Pope wanted to know, do you feed him lots of petitza, a Slovenian cake? Her facial expression suggested she hadn't expected that as a question. The President gave the Pope bound copies of the works of Martin Luther King. The Pope gave the President some of his encyclicals, including, pointedly, one on the environment and the dangers of global warming. During the election campaign, when Pope Francis visited the US-Mexico border, he said that people who choose to build walls and not bridges weren't Christian. Donald Trump said those comments were disgraceful. No ban! And in February, just after Donald Trump had tried to introduce his travel ban from 6 mainly Muslim countries and suspended the refugee program, the Pope tweeted, "How often in the Bible the Lord asks us to welcome migrants and foreigners, reminding us that we too are foreigners." The President and First Lady have now arrived in Brussels ahead of tomorrow's NATO summit. Yes, he's warm to the organisation, but his determination to get member states to cough up more money is unchanged.
He really wants to persuade NATO members to step up and fully meet their obligations under burden sharing.
On the streets, thousands turned out to protest at Donald Trump's arrival. Feminists, immigration campaigners, trades unions. Welcome to Europe, Mr. President.
British police have arrested the brother of the suspect and there are real fears he was plotting another attack. Another brother and the father have been detained in Libya. Meanwhile, intelligence officials are shocked. Pictures apparently showing the remnants of the bombs have been published in the US.
Late morning, central Manchester, and a raid on a block of flats, part of a huge operation to discover the network of the Manchester bomber. The police believe he stayed there as recently as 7 o'clock on Monday evening, the night of the attack. Today's operation involved armed units, some wearing military clothing.
You will be aware that the level of activity in this investigation is intense and is continuing at a fast pace. I think it's very clear that this is a network that we are investigating, and as I said, it continues at a pace.
Late afternoon and a new arrest, this time on a street in Wigan. A man detained. Police say he was carrying a suspicious package. The UK, now a country on high alert. This was Reading this morning, and this the Scottish Parliament in Edinburgh. Outside Downing Street, soldiers were patrolling alongside police. Eventually, 3,800 troops will be deployed. All of these special operations are aimed at discovering the circle linked to Salman Abedi, the Manchester bomber. It has become clear that he was part of a terror cell. Police today were examining his house in South Manchester. Abedi may have been a mule, a bomb carrier. The bomb makers may still be at large. Abedi returned to the UK from Libya a few days before the attack. On Monday, Abedi carried out a suicide attack at the Manchester Arena. 22 people were killed and 64 injured. Today, the New York Times revealed pictures from the crime scene in the foyer of the Manchester Arena. The pictures appear to show the remnants of the bomber's backpack, the metal fragments used in the attack, and a possible detonator. British security officials tonight expressed astonishment and disbelief that the pictures had been leaked.
And more details emerging about the 22-year-old bomber Salman Abedi, who is a British-born young man with Libyan parents, and how he ended up as a jihadist.
These pictures on the front page of the British tabloids. Salman Abedi as a British schoolboy and a goofy-looking teenager at the beach. No indication of his rapid road to jihad. But tonight we are learning Abedi had been recruited by ISIS, and that 5 weeks before the attack, he traveled to Libya, an ISIS stronghold and his family's ancestral home, returning to Manchester on May 17th, just 5 days before he set off his bomb. Officials in Libya today said they have arrested the bomber's father, who in this interview just before the arrest denied his son was a terrorist. Authorities also arrested the bomber's younger brother, Hashim, who they say confessed that he was in the process of carrying out what they called his own act of terrorism, and that he knew exactly how his brother's bomb was made. ISIS has posted videos online showing how to build a variety of suicide bombs. But experts say the details in the Manchester bomb show greater sophistication, including a design like the one used by ISIS for bombs in Paris and Brussels, and more than one detonator.
Really suggesting that he probably did not act alone, that he probably had some help, that he certainly had some advice on how to create the bomb.
True Crime Sports is next. Details after the break.
True Crime Sports. True Crime Sports.
Welcome to True Crime Sports. The SB Sports Awards on Saturday night is now hours away. With 33 nominations from 11 categories, this event will see at least 11 or 12 individuals or teams in PNG sporting fraternity walk away with their prestigious awards. This is also the 25th year for the event to give recognition to sporting performances by PNG athletes and officials domestically and in the international arena as well. And gracing the awards night with his presence will be Australian Rugby League great Wally Molly Lewis.
2016 has been a year full of sporting highlights. OFC Nations Cup, FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup and the Rio Olympics were the major events PNG athletes took part in. The Silver Jubilee of the Sports Award on Saturday will see outstanding sportsmen and women come out as winners from 12 categories. The last category, the People's Choice, was open for public voting from Thursday the 19th of this month to the 23rd. And nominees up for voting were from the Male and Female Athlete of the Year category nominations, as well as Team of the Year and the Performance of the Year. This special category lets the public decide who is more deserving of the award. Present on the awards night will be the likes of PNG Sprint Queen Toya Whistle, who was nominated under the Female Athlete of the Year category, alongside PNG tennis star Abigail Tera Apisa and weightlifting's Telma Toa. And in the Team of the Year category, the PNG Barramundis, Hunters and the Couples are also in the running. During the nomination finalist announcement earlier this month, SP Sports Awards Committee Chairperson Moses Koiri said getting nominated is already an achievement and that proves the hard yards put in did not go unnoticed. Meanwhile, Australia Rugby League legend Wally Lewis will be the guest speaker and he will be interviewed live here on MTV News at 6 p.m. on Saturday.
Hello Papua New Guinea, I'm Wally Lewis and I'm looking forward to meeting you all at the 2017 SP Sports Awards Nights. See you in Port Moresby.
Dinero Striko, National MTV Sports.
Defender Roland Bala has rejoined his PNG squad teammates from Wellington, New Zealand. The left back, who missed out on the 2 matches against Tahiti through injury, is raring to go for his country.
PNG defender Roland Bala is excited to be back in camp for the national team. The left back, who played a handful of matches throughout last season's campaign, is now hoping to make a strong push for a berth in Flemin Sarislev's first 11 as they embark on the road to Russia.
That time transition to now, it's big, it's a blessing really, because I thought it was over, but I'm here now. It's getting better.
Now fully recovered from the knee injury that saw him miss out in March, Bala says the experience of playing in New Zealand with Oceania powerhouse Wellington FC has given him a valuable insight into football at a high level.
Yeah, definitely. It's another level above what we have here, but the setup is really good. They look after their players' well-being, especially, to perform at a very good level. So.
Bala, however, will face stiff competition from the likes of young defenders Clement Willis and Philip Stephen, the former who impressed on debut. Nonetheless, Roland Bala is psyched at being back in training with the squad.
It's good to be back home. Spent about more than 2 months now in Wellington. It's been freezing. Style like 30 degrees Nagoranlo, below 15. Makes it time straight there. But yeah, it's good to come back here, see the boys. Yes, visited family, so yeah, it's been good.
The announcement of the final team to Honiara will be announced in the coming weeks. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
To netball, a dominant performance by the Snacks Mermaids in the Port Moresby Premier League Tier 1 match last night. Winning by 21 points, the Mermaids took the lead from the first quarter and never looked back.
From the onset, the Mermaids' approach to the match was that of confidence. Both sides had met in last year's Port Moresby NA Grand Final, and it had been the women in red who'd been victorious. But the Mermaids were not allowed to let history repeat itself. A narrow 11-7 first quarter was followed by an 8-point margin in the second, before they shot ahead to a 37-24 point gap by the end of the third. Paramana had initially put up a strong fight, but a dismal 4 points in the final quarter sealing their fate. The Mermaids with a commanding 49-28 win. Despite an injury sustained in the match, Mermaids captain Kila Leka was happy with her side's performance.
Well, we'll just stick to the same plan, game plan. Our girls are fit, young girls, so they always do their job well.
In the other Tier 1 match, Kilala Owen was dominant in her role at goalkeeper for the Sparrows, while it took goal shooter Emily Anderson a while to get her first touch of the ball. The scoreline, however, tighter, with a 10-point margin at the end of the match, Sparrows with a 45-35 point win. In the Tier 2 meet, Nerso Mona as they prepared to face the City Pharmacy Rebels. In the pre-match interview, both captains had this to say.
The competition there is even better as well, because the teams that are in that tier, everyone wants to get a spot in the final two, because that's it. If you make the final two, you advance to Tier 1. If you miss out, you drop down to Division 1 in the normal competition. So that's what everyone's fighting for. You can see it every weekend, improvements in the teams, and my team is one of them that's been improving every Wednesday.
We've been concentrating in the mid-court, the defense and the shooting area. The mid-court especially, because in a previous game with Rebels in the first round, we lost in the mid-court. So during the training, we prepared very well for mid-court especially.
Mona, however, unable to match the class of the Rebels, who dominated with a 61-38 point win. Final results in the match between Auna Fonza Raukela and Vilpunama. Raukela winning 47-42. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
Stay tuned. Trukai Sports will be back after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Former chef de mission Richard Casman says sporting codes in the country need to continue preparations for upcoming international events. PNG will be participating in the Mini Pacific Games in Vanuatu, the Commonwealth Games in Australia and the Olympic Games in Japan, among other international events.
Casman says despite PNG's outstanding performance during the 2015 Pacific Games, he urged the different sporting federations to start strategizing for upcoming events.
It's about saying, guys, yes, but then we need a team that's going to take us on this longer journey, and we need that approach. And we're building up to that. And we're going to lose some along the way. But that's fine, because we're building for that. So that's where that strategic perspective needs to be inculcated in our sports administration.
He explained not all sporting codes will have to attend the Mini Pacific Games.
Now we need to refocus, in my view, and pick the sports for mini games, but keep a really big focus for 2018. And then also have a focus as well for Olympic Games in Japan.
He advised different federations to come up with plans of action and to start consulting the PNG Olympic Committee.
Have that longer strategic plan and say when we'd like to be excused from these games because our focus and the competition that we need, say for example with VAR, is not going to be at Vanuatu. So as we prepare for Tonga, if Tonga is still on, we need to go where we can build the VAR team to get to Tonga. For netball, we need to take the netball team to Singapore, to other competitions, to build our team for the Pacific Games 2019. That's the sort of thing we need to do.
Casman also spoke about the administration of different sporting federations, saying executives need to be upskilled.
We need to modernize. Sports has changed dramatically, and we need to upskill executives to better run their sports. Also to be better aware of how do we strategize to build.
Elijah Lavette, National EMTV Sports.
To international football, Manchester United's Paul Pogba and Henrik Mkhitaryan scored a goal in each half as their team outclassed Ajax Amsterdam to win an emotional Europa League final 2-0 and qualify for the group stages of next season's Champions League. Fans packed the venue near Old Trafford to celebrate their team's triumph.
There was silence and then applause before the game to honor the victims of Monday's deadly attack at the pop concert in Manchester, in which 22 people died, and both sides then played a final full of pride and passion at the Friends Arena. World record signing Pogba opened the scoring in the 18th minute as United won the ball after an Ajax throw-in. The Frenchman's shot taking a wicked deflection to wrong-foot goalkeeper Andre Onana and flying to the net. Mkhitaryan then flicked the ball home early in the second half following a United corner. With chants of Manchester echoing around the stadium, United held on to win the only European trophy missing from the Old Trafford cabinet. Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho said the suicide bomb attack in Manchester has taken much of the joy out of the Europa League triumph against Ajax.
We didn't want to have the press conference because we have to prepare ourselves to do our job and to try to forget events that are obviously much more important than our job.
Meanwhile, thousands of Manchester United fans at the venue near Old Trafford celebrated their team's win. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends True Guy Sports. The weather details up next.
True Guy Sports. True Guy Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow: in the southern region, partly cloudy afternoon with chance of some showers, then fine in Port Moresby and Daru. Afternoon showers and possible thunderstorms occurring, then cloudy in Kerma. Mostly fine, although partly cloudy in Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, afternoon showers occurring, then cloudy in Lae. Mostly fine, although partly cloudy in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine and sunny in Lorengau and Kavieng. Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, occasional afternoon showers, then partly cloudy, and afternoon showers and possible thunderstorms occurring, then cloudy in Buka. And in the Highlands region, occasional afternoon rain showers, then cloudy in Mount Hagen, and afternoon rain showers occurring, then cloudy in Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. Before we go to one of the biggest stories out of Kokopo this week, the Air New Guinea Cocoa Warwagira Festival began in Kokopo today. The festival, which will continue till Saturday, has attracted cocoa farmers and agriculture-based institutions from all over the country. The Livestock and Agriculture Minister Tommy Tomskol officiated at the festival's opening. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
The Air New Guinea PNG Cocoa Warwagira Festival that began today in Kokopo is one of the big events listed in the PNG cocoa calendar that will happen after every 2 years. Today, cocoa farmers, agriculture institutions, schools and their students all came together in the name of cocoa. The inaugural cocoa show is the first of its kind that aimed at showcasing and encouraging farmers to continue producing high-grade beans. The theme of this year's event is promoting cocoa quality. The Livestock and Agriculture Minister Tommy Tomskol officiated at the opening this morning.
Special markets are created by consumers who believe that when they buy a chocolate bar, that money must go to the grower.
The PNG Cocoa Board, the organizers of the festival, hopes the event will not only bring together cocoa farmers to share their knowledge, but to a larger extent to remind them about the cocoa industry that although it is down, it is still not out.
And the East New Britain being the host and the spiritual home of cocoa, where cocoa is home in PNG.
But what's most significant about the three-day festival is that it is a lead-up to the International Cocoa of Excellence in Paris comes October. A panel of judges comprising 1 local and 6 international judges who came from as far as the US, United Kingdom and Australia will taste and assess a variety of cocoa beans. The best beans will be awarded and their farmers will be sent to Paris to represent PNG during the International Cocoa of Excellence exhibition. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
And that's been the news, sports and weather for Thursday, May 25th. On behalf of the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.